So welcome everyone to the, I was about to say the publishing triangle, to the Office Hours Spring Showcase 2021. Y'all know me, I'm Greg. I'm still Greg Newton, co-founder of the Bureau of General Services Queer Division, which remains closed, but the virtual events continue, as does our online store. And we're still waiting on the word from the center as far as reopening, but yesterday's CDC announcement gives me hope that we may be getting there. We will get there. So welcome, thanks for coming tonight. It's always lovely to see y'all. And I think that's it from me. I'm gonna turn it over to Sarah.
Awesome, yeah, thank you so much, Greg. It's lovely to be here, right, with you in my kitchen, celebrating another semester of office hours. So we have a lovely lineup for you this evening. First, I want to say that we're supported by the Bureau, of course, with Greg running these amazing events, doing all the promotion. Greg is like a tireless saint who I will feed barbecue this summer once we're all vaccinated. We're also supported by poets and writers via public funds from New York City Department of Cultural Affairs in partnership with the City Council. So thank you so much, poets and writers, for always funding our people for writing new work. It's amazing. So a little bit about office hours. We're a group of writers who make space for LGBTQ, POC writers, femme-identified folks. We're looking for new members, expanding in the different semesters, ahead of us. We have a website that you can visit. We'll put it in the chat too. All right, so we're gonna kick off reading tonight. Our first reader is gonna be Laura Cresté, the author of You Should Feel Bad, which was selected for a 2019 Poetry Society of America Chapbook Fellowship. She holds an MFA in poetry from New York University, and her poems have appeared in journals including No Tokens, Tinderbox, Breakwater Review, and Bodega. Please welcome Laura.
Thanks, Sarah, and thanks so much, Greg and the Bureau, for having us. So yeah, this semester, I feel like I've been focused a lot more on revision than on generating new work. So if you heard me read these poems, like last time we had one of these, sorry, hopefully it won't be super fresh in your mind. And I'm just gonna read 3 poems. Before every moon was a supermoon. I thought it was like death, all the days the same, and no one knew to kiss or ruin your life. Parents sniping at each other when the meat was undercooked, red juice pooling into the salad greens, or when bills were lost in piles at the kitchen table. I used to get drunk just to make something happen, have a good time, then suffer extravagantly the next day. 20 years old, home for the weekend, straining my neck on a football field with friends and a boy I no longer loved, trying to watch a celestial event that hadn't occurred since Shakespeare. Something about the moon, but we missed it for the clouds. My life was never more my own, slept late, read poems, had a car and a library job that paid $50 a week for books and booze. I didn't think about my debts. On the field, we narrowed our eyes against the fog. There was no moon. Can you imagine having to go to a job every single day? We asked each other. We couldn't. And this next one is called Inheritance. At the kitchen table, I feel woodchucks beneath the floor, knocking the joists of the house while digging new chambers. They annexed the underdeck. Months into quarantine, I asked my father for his roast chicken recipe. It changes every time. He says 2 chickens ago, he used half a Valencia orange instead of lemon, and it was perfect. He and my mother aren't speaking, but I pretend not to know. We compare animals, the black bear who circled the house like an omen, my father's starlings with their oily bibs. He offers stale bread, then worries it's not good for them. Mike and I walk every day, baby talk the goats penned in by the side of the road, the color of oatmeal. One day the pasture is empty, like they might have been butchered, but we don't know the neighbors, so there's no one to ask. When we moved into his vacant home, Mike's father told us if we hear screaming, don't go out into the night. It's only the Fishers. So far, I am the only thing that shrieks in the night. When a heavy picture frame slips from the wall with enough force to tear through baseboard, I wake as if the sound is coming from someone else. I want to say I've evolved to be alert because my family was dragged out of their beds by the military, but that can't be right. My father had already fled. It happened to his sister and brother, not my heritable trauma. I just carry these stories inside me and argue half-heartedly about whether we need a dog for protection. For now, the Fishers keep quiet and the chicken with orange is good. I didn't mention this in the poem because it was like tonally different, but when my partner's dad said that to him about it's only the Fishers, Mike was like, who are the Fishers? And here's the last poem I'm going to read. It's another quarantine poem, just like the last one, but this is from last summer, and you know, it seems like this summer will be a little bit better, so less of a bleak quarantine poem, hopefully. Overripe. Sometimes it's like this. Slugs discover the basil, no matter where we plant it. Batshit on the welcome mat. I cave in the burrow between cherry tomatoes and rosemary. Every day the chipmunks dig anew until I fill the hole with sticks, menacing as the Blair Witch. After the storm, I skim 1 dead frog, 3 dead newts, and 2 live ones from the pool. There are weevils in the flour, weevils in the sugar, and something in my bottle of vitamins sweet as candy. Late tomatoes split lewd as Jesus with his bloody heart, and the pool sloshes, reminding me how last night I saw lightning, or else the blue pulse of a device meant to drive rodents insane. Mike loves a never-ending task, so he collects twigs in the yard after every storm, but I believe in entropy and let it alone. I drive to the farm with the sign over corn on ice, every corn has a worm, do not open to check. At the ignition turn, a chipmunk crawls out of the hood, and we astonish each other through the glass, a baby, which is what I called Mike when he brooded, self-accusing, losing chess game after chess game, don't be such a baby. He didn't like that. I could sit outside and watch the daily dramas play across the yard. Instead, I shut the door and read about a weasel Annie Dillard saw 40 years ago. The truth is, I can't stop thinking of the dead frog. Something terrible happened to his skin, water repellent sliding off like jelly, a bubble taut across his mouth. Insurance stops covering my birth control, so I give it up and feel slightly more animal, sore breasts, and more so when I trade plastic for a shampoo bar and turn greasy from the coconut. When I was born, my aunt said my dark cap of hair was like an otter's pelt. The radishes never take. Snakes undulate in the pool and leave their skins behind on the stone wall, flimsy dresses I'd shuck off as I climbed drunk into bed for years. The therapist in my phone asks if the meditation he prescribed is helping. Does it matter? I just need the summer to end, for the garden to die back a little. Thanks.
Lovely, lovely. Yes, I forgot to mention our clapping options are jazz hands, right? This kind of clapping, and we have like our emoji reactions also. People are giving love in the chat, which is wonderful. Yeah, let's feel free to shout out our favorite lines, all that good stuff too. Thank you so much, Laura. Those are beautiful. Our next reader is Paco Marquez, author of Portraits in G Minor, Folded Word Press 2017. His poems can be found in Fence, Apogee, Live Mag, and Huzache. Originally from Leon, Mexico, Paco has spent most of his life in Sacramento and the San Francisco Bay Area. Please welcome Paco.
Hello, can everybody hear me okay? Yeah, all right. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Greg. Exciting to be reading towards the end of this season, which is turning around. My parents are visiting, so I'm really excited to see some people. So I'm gonna start by reading a poem from one of my favorite books, Hafiz, The Gift. And it's just a little poem. It's this sky where we live It's no place to lose your wings. So love, love, love. And I'm going to read a couple of old poems that I haven't read in a long time. So I just thought I'd pull them out. This one is when I walk into the pharmacy. So when I walk into the pharmacy, drops of my blood placed on a platter, mixed with mercury and semen, some stupid ass cure your mother recommended. As I eat Doritos with my other hand, people on the street stare at me as if jealous of my situation. The sunset shines on a light bulb above an ancient poster from ET, probably left there since 1986. You text me that you're so tired. A barefoot man by the door says he has auditory hallucinations, demons and angels singing to death, or firewood crackling. He can't afford his meds. I reach into my jeans but have only one shiny penny to offer. Abraham Lincoln cast in copper on the shadiest, most useless coin. Fuck, I feel faint. My blood drained away, and the pharmacist's warm hand holding my frigid one right after she bent over next to my face. Wish I could take her home or at least get a little wet kiss. Pascal says that he who tries to play the angel ends up the devil, and vice versa, or something. I sure have tried the angel. You have so many friends and a good job, but I feel that our blood, tears, semen haven't yet mixed to the right concoction. If romantic love isn't that, I said romantic love, yes. And the next one is called Regret. Humble me, Buddha me, teach me, disorient me, ostracize me, kidnap me, dissolve, level me tenderly. You are the rage, you are the bones cracked for fuel, you are the flesh distilled for oil. I am the hunger, the idiocy, the blindness. You come from lust ache, I come from blind toil. I wish to breathe myself up into vapor and become salty dew on a breeze. And I'm going to try to share my screen. Let me see. Oh, never mind. It's disabled. So, the psychologist and her operating table. Her displayed before the white plastic table, 2 hearts, an orifice, several ears, a hue, and a small cloud. All a mess and a mist like a lava lamp. Through the eye of a golden needle, she sees the sun and threads silver and copper. Gets to sewing a long back to a torso, a stomach to a gut, with the care of a gardener. She mends through flesh and dream and sews her fingers into her own left hand. One time she accidentally put an eye on an ass. On the shelf, she keeps extra tissue in a petri dish and spare eyes inside a jar. Sometimes saws a third one right onto a patient's forehead. She collects a paycheck and waits, like everyone else, for the rain to smell. And I'm running out of poems. Good. I tried this one. Birds is. When I learned to think, I was unable to speak. Spilled a handful of rubies on plain snow. Grammar grew ant legs and crawled off the page, leaving me with the music of a low hum, say, the minuscule swish of dragonfly wings or crickets and frogs heard once on a childhood ranch. With linen thread, my lips were tied. Silence rolled in, invisible, heavy as a boulder, fat as a cloud. Waving, gesturing became unstable. The thus and the ands giggled. This is when the when blurs. Letters splash each other's nakedness. Are you half with me? What music isn't abstract? What language isn't music? What logic isn't vacuous? Here, a swirl of moths flies in front of a strobe light. And over there, an old infant perched on the cable of a gentle passion chirps into daylight's dilated pupil. And I have two more. This is just a brief one. Long white crane neck. Eternal life is possible all the time. It is always to be experienced in the instant, never rushed. Live one moment of your life fully, alert, at peace, aware, in breath, thought, body, and sensation. And there you are, savoring what the candy forever tastes like. And I'm going to finish with a brand new draft that I'm still very much working on. How loud do poets have to say it? That the universe outside ends in the same place the universe inside ends. And the reason our telescopes haven't seen it is the same reason our introspection can't. This bogle a perception, an intuition, an attitude of interconnectedness. God, no matter, for everything be his body. With the eyes hermetically open towards the inside, temples and cities arose. My face, my voice, your voice, our touch. Our sentientness is of space itself. Sense time coursing through your nerves. Silver octopus smeared stars on the sky. Thank you.
Wow, Paco, it feels like the ocean is reading to us or something, this like beautiful sonic bath. It's really lovely.
Thank you.
I envy your little Marlin who gets to hear your reading voice all the time.
I like to recite to him. Not my own stuff, but other people's stuff.
That's cute. Lucky guy. Awesome. Our next reader is Jay Freeborn, a teacher. Let's all take a moment of silence for all the grading that we're all likely doing, or in the future, depending on your schedule. And the Anthology Books managing editor at the Poetry Society of New York. Please welcome Jay.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. This is my first workshop experience. I found office hours through coming to a reading, so I do suggest, as Sarah said, to just apply if folks are interested. And yeah, thank you all for being so wonderful. I'll read two pieces, one that I workshopped with you folks. I dream I am a god, feathers trailing through jewel-toned oceans on my way to the meeting of other gods. Some drive Volvos, rusted and busted. Some hitch rides, 3 to a seat. I dream the children hiding in my grandmother's house are actually there for me, under blankets, behind rocking horses, beneath the bathroom tiles. It's my birthday, maybe. But baby, I'm a tin picker now. Flash blind, I'm skimming on elbows. Hair down disaster to a stainless steel sky. Rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief. Somewhere in my bones, I lick your armpit. Somewhere in a peat block hovel is my family. Faces black with coal. But the arc of your waist as you turn with the camera, gunslinger. No more office party Christmas kisses now, 'cause I am a salt marsh. Natural buffer to the tides. Reed bed, woodland, grazeland, heath. Living on joy will be destitute soon, said with a wave towards primary colors. But what if restraint is also a god? And instead of withholding, she invites us both through the door to massage away this sleepless bloat with hands growing strong as shoes gather dust. And night after night beside you, I dream. So thank you all for listening to that one another time. Appreciate it. And then the other one is also new and I've just been working on it. You could commit to be a traveler on the outer rings of pain and pleasure. Or you should commit to the middle, to the lower middle, undefined. Commit to never knowing, being enough. Each day a letdown, an accomplishment. Touching rust and my knees go weak, chipping bubbled paint on the door where the towel hangs each morning. Hold me in the light, friends, I'm failing once more to breathe. Had the feeling with your fine pink hand in mine that I could snap these fingers, bend them back and break their tiny bones. But amid the slick black limbs and chartreuse buds like acne on the face of youth, my body lost all memory of action. Traveler, I have moved to warm, flush with aching branches, flip the ghost across the beam 200 rings better than I, a mountain mirrored and a man of mostly shoulders. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. It's been amazing to be someone's first workshop experience, right? I hope we did you justice, Jay. It's been amazing to have you share your poems. It feels really special. Our next reader is Carrie Hohmann Campbell, the author of the chapbooks Drawn to Extinction, Finishing Line Press, and Incongruent Someday, Dancing Girl Press. She holds degrees from Allegheny College and New York University. She and her family live in northwestern Pennsylvania, where she precariously balances teaching creative writing at Edinboro University, homesteading, and writing. Please welcome Carrie.
So I still can't get over Zoom. It's so weird. I'm so grateful for this workshop, and this past academic year's been so odd, but as all of you have supported my single-minded subject, circling motherhood and providing various perspectives and suggestions that have been immensely helpful. Thanks, Greg and the Bureau, for providing this platform for us to showcase our work. And Sarah, thank you so much for organizing this, especially virtually. So because I'm outside of the NYC area, I can participate. So thanks for that. I'm gonna just read 3 poems. 2 of them I workshopped this semester, and the other one I'm not sure if I did or not, but I'm just gonna read it. It's called Thinking About Childbirth During a Meteor Shower. When meteors streak across the sky, they seem to mirror our thoughts, my thoughts, erratic, spaced far apart, fleeting. Is purpose revealed in one definable moment? I don't remember thinking about the baby during birth, only that I wouldn't survive, my lungs shrinking with each breath, everything on the verge of dispersing into light. I just thought there'd be more. The space inside isn't empty, just an amorphous cloud where speeding up and slowing down exist simultaneously. I am homesick for another world thrust in all directions, looking for somewhere to land, somewhere inhabitable and easier to breathe. This next one is called Motherhood Volcanoes. The first line is from Sarah Menkendick's Homing Instincts. Like many young people, I've taken my body for granted. And like a tattoo, I've forgotten the immediate discomfort, blocked out the aftermath, thinking changes during pregnancy are gradual, something prepared for and seen from a great distance. But the changes, like a volcano, are violent, surprising, and all-consuming. The expected signs, nausea, cravings, exhaustion, surface as the physical transformation into a now foreign body hosts another foreign body. But as with smoke and ash and molten rock, it doesn't end predictably. Sometimes marks appear where they hadn't before. Other times, the expanding mass generates a new internal geography, but always a seismic severing past and future selves. What appears to be soft clouds are pyroclastic flows, the swarm of rock particles and gases accelerating outward at 100 miles per hour. The tephra suffocates after a single inhalation. What appears to be a pregnant woman in my reflection is one questioning the rage that swells in her chest like a noxious fume. What lies dormant, no amount of preparation will suffice. And the last one is called Motherhood Microchimerism. I have never felt so intensely present in my body that simultaneously doesn't feel like mine than during pregnancy. The human body contains microbes, bacteria, information from other humans. It's predictably ironic to realize I'm not in control. Fetal cells can be absorbed into the mother's body to create brain cells, heart cells, any other cells. What part of my brain is now not me? It's an illusion to think we were ever separate, ever able to define an independent self. What part of my brain has always been the confluence of other humans? Identity is a slippery fish. Possessive pronouns begin to fall away. New theories suggest fetal cells can permanently alter the mother's behavior. This residua lasts her entire lifespan. Thank you.
Amazing. I'm just reflecting on those last lines, right? Sorry, Mom. There's some part of me, we're all connected, right? Woo, so cool to hear so many poems from parents, right? I think we have at least 3 parents, I'm not missing anyone, in our cohort this semester, which is really, really cool to see folks just writing through it all, right? Not in spite of, but alongside of. It's awesome. Our next reader is Noelle Sikorsky, a senior lecturer in the expository writing program at NYU. Her poems have appeared in the American Poets Magazine, Georgetown Review, Painted Bride Quarterly, and the Bellevue Literary Review. Please welcome Noelle.
Hey guys. Sarah, your work here is amazing, and I have been in a lot of workshops, and I have to say that the workshops that I have been in with you guys, I can't get over how generous, like incredibly generous, and generous. It really beautiful. And Greg, thank you for hosting. I'm going to read 2 poems. They're both short. I'll say something about the second one after the first one. Neither have titles. When I was meditating to loosen the grip of me, I remembered me, 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 capital M, capital E, an exclamation point after each glittering me, pasted onto the window of the sugar storefront on Broadway in the Village. Back when people, me, left our homes, me, I would buy candy there, me, to celebrate, me, the end of semesters, me, with my students, me, a little cotton candy pink, me, and baby blue, me, red and black licorice ropes, me, dark chocolate marshmallows, me, milk chocolate kisses, me, peanut butter clusters, me, break your teeth, me, hard candies by the pound, me, so much sweetness, the teeth I no longer have in my mouth ache, me. And the second one, I have a series of fragments that are all kind of circling around fact that I came across in Quora on the internets. I was looking up things that would be, that would disqualify an enlistee, like would give them the designation of 4F. And the thing I came across was in the Civil War, if you didn't have front teeth, opposing teeth, you couldn't load a rifle, you couldn't shoot a rifle, and so you were rejected. And so I have all these weird fragments, and this is one of them. You'd be surprised by how many times I've confused a muffin for a man, or by how many muffins you can load onto a truck, a muffin truck. Never give a muffin a rifle, no front teeth, mother muffin. That's it.
That's amazing. I would like to hear more stories about confusing men with muffins. And also the me in that first poem. Y'all, you're out of control. These are so great. I think we talked about the generosity of the workshop, but there's so much enjoyment here too, so much celebration. I think that's what keeps me going semester after semester, you know, in the writing process. Thank you. All right, our next reader is Linda Harris Dolan, a poet, educator, and editor. As a teaching artist at NYU Langone's Hasfield Children's Hospital, she holds one-on-one writing sessions with pediatric patients. She earned an MFA in poetry from NYU, where she was a Starworks Creative Writing Fellow, and an MA in English and American Literature from NYU. Her work appears in Barrow Street, the Brooklyn Review, Cordella, and Breakwater Review. She's also been nominated for a Pushcart Prize. Please welcome Linda.
Thank you all. I just want to say thank you again to Sarah and Office Hours and to everyone in workshop. It's been, as always, a really beautiful, wonderful time. And special thank you to Greg and the Bureau for hosting us and always being such a good home for our readings. I'm going to read 4 poems tonight, all of which are from my manuscript that I'm working on, which traces my family's genetic heart condition through the generations to me. And then also to know the last 2 poems that I'll be reading involve reference Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. So if you don't remember or haven't read that children's novel, Charlotte was a spider and Wilbur was a pig, and Charlotte saved Wilbur's life with her words and her web. So keep that in mind when we get there. Okay. Night shift. One night when Dad's in the cardiac ICU and sleeping with the TV on, I have to change the channel from some show on abuse. Later, when things are really bad, Michael Jackson dies, and I do the same thing. Change the subject, change the channel. And one night in CCU, I'm reading a short story by Jhumpa Lahiri. I can't read it, wish I hadn't, have to close the book. Because the human body can only handle so many fights at once, our bodies consumed with his. When he finally gets a regular room, I curl up awake on the window seat bench. And sometimes when I really want him to sleep, I ignore him. When first he taps his fingers on the side rail of his bed, which is how he tests whether I'm awake and will help. And sometimes this works and he dozes back off. But usually he taps a second time and then a third, and I go to him, of course. The things he wishes for at 3:30 in the morning. If I were home, you know what I'd do? What, Dad? Go sit on the front porch. At 3:32 in the morning. If I were home, you know what I'd do? What, Dad? Go sit on the front porch. Did we touch some portal? There was a box of your little black day books on the pool table in the basement, and probably Mom or Bobby threw them out, and probably there was no reason they shouldn't have. When I'm gone, I doubt anyone will remember the mole on the left side of my throat. There's no one to whom that mole means so much. No finger settles there day after day, save for mine. What transfixes me upon it, seeking it in the mirrors and the pictures. Even now, in your casket, you are decayed. And I don't know what happens to the shirt, but its pocket held your pens, 2 cards, an old flip phone. And I've found old pens in the ground before. Do they sit upon your ribs, fall within? There are many things I never asked you. Your voice did not relay. Did we miss a single thing? And these next 2 are the ones that feature Charlotte's Web. Spotswood. I make my doctor appointments for the same 4 weeks I stay at Grandma's old house, and coincidentally, the same 2 days that mark the 2-year anniversaries of Dad's death and funeral. My part of this story is no diagonal rising line, starting one place and ending years later in another. No linear progression, no plottable singular moments. Me with the devastating swirling grief of loss, and then incurable disease. Most people don't know what to say to me, expect me to move productively, efficiently on within the socially acceptable capitalistic bullshit limits of subdued emotion and time. What's my story? If Charlotte had not been able to save Wilbur, her last gossamer word still in her web, the pen of wood boards and scattered straw bedding the ground, scent thick with all the Wilburness that was herded out and away, gone before her very 8 eyes. This will be my last one. If Charlotte wasn't able to save Wilbur, would she still live her whole life trying? Would she find gossamer words, webs of rustling, that this was never her purpose, her task at all? Or maybe it was, but some tasks are not in the accomplishing, are merely in the loving. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Linda. It's really cool to live with a project, to see someone's book develop over the years. You know what I mean? To see all the parts and pieces. And I agree with everyone in the chat. These are stunners. These are amazing. Our next reader is James Fujinami Moore, whose debut collection, Indecent Hours, is forthcoming from Four-Way Books in 2022. Woo woo! His work has appeared or is forthcoming in Barrow Street's 4x2, the Brooklyn Rail, Guest House, The Margins, the Pacifica Literary Review, and Prelude. He received support from Poets House, Breadloaf, and The Frost Place, and received his MFA from Hunter College in 2016. He lives in LA and has a website, jamesfujinamimore.com. Please welcome James.
Hey, y'all. Thank you so much to Sarah for inviting me to this and to Greg for hosting. It's truly, genuinely been such a true pleasure to be a part of this. And in the spirit of that, I'm going to read like a bunch of new shit because that seems like the mood of today. The first 2 poems are poems that I wrote in this workshop, and then the last one is a very drafty draft. So the first one, the only thing you need to know is if you don't know what a Pomeranian looks like, it's a very small, silly looking dog. And it's based on a true story. If I should die eaten by a Pomeranian, I would like the priest to say that I did not see it coming, because if I did, I would have done something about it, despite the fact that it's never a good look to try and fight a Pomeranian, even if it started it, even if you see somewhere deep in those tiny overplucked eyes the echo of some older thing, some glint outside the cave, the growl of what isn't exactly a wolf. Dear priest, please say the thing about what wasn't a wolf, and also the thing about the feral hog, how if you leave a domesticated pig outside for long enough, it becomes a hog, grows tusks and hair, how that's epigenetics, how a feral hog's not exactly a boar, but it hardly matters, does it, when you're bleeding out on the loamy floor trying to figure out how your afternoon went so badly, how you entered the ecosystem, how your story about the woods turned into a tale, a cautionary tale, the kind of tale you hope isn't told by a priest in a non-denominational side room while the ushers check their watches, stifle their laughs, wonder what happened to the Pomeranian anyways, wandering the woods, growing its fur, finding its old lost wild, the priest wrapping up the story with something about nature, probably, the wet hungers of nature, probably, how the precise bright teeth of a Pomeranian are each the finger of God, probably, each wrapped around your throat, wrapped just like a prayer. Thank you. This next one is based off of, it's after a poem by Yona Harvey called Hush Harbor, which is an incredibly beautiful poem that I strongly recommend. It's called America, Your Face Only a Mother Could Love, after Yona Harvey. And then you awake in the grocery store with ants walk down your throat, castor oil, goat cheese, sesame oil, lime, breath hitched down soil. Is that person looking? Don't cough. Liquid smoke, rice flour, instant dry yeast. Mother, call me hypocrite. I haven't the belief. God, keep me from your sugar plums, candy peach, gun sight sty. A bad day, the sheriff says, out his ant-stuffed eyes. For him, just a really bad Gaia apple, granny apple, cosmic fucking crisp. Bald ants spill out the flooded chapel, each gripped to each. Although the ones at the bottom may drown, the colonies will survive. American persons are now advised, stay apart, stay alert, keep out an eye for symptoms, stock up on rubber tires, roofing tar, down goose feathers, and gasoline. In this mask, I can't breathe. Under these eyes, please God, don't let me. Cough syrup, corn syrup, sweet soy glaze. I don't know, I've been in a daze. If you can kill my mother, you can see my eyes. If you can see my eyes, have you seen my God? He's got a bubblegum, winter flavor pure. Too poor a price to bend a bullet's flight. God of small rooms, God of tempted eye, God of trimmed dead hand. And this last one is I'm sure that was kind of too sad to end up reading on. So this last one is just like a fun sort of experiment. Yeah. Again, thank you so much for having me and for your kind attention. Excerpts from the tourism pamphlets at San Juan Capistrano. In Goya, Kronos swallows his children. With stones thrown at a flight of swallows, often curse the plague of swallows and jackrabbits. Swallows the enemy of farming crops, sweet corn, sharp butter, roasted swallows with better swallows than your memory of swallows. An astonishing sound above for the faithless that swallows the lies of water swallowing the piper's children. Have you seen this child? He swallows quickly and swallows, which is to say he's lying. The winter's dark swallows us up. Where are my children? She cries. And then the oven breathes, swallows, spits out its new. The world is ringed by hawks, swallows, and of course the borders of hunger. Swallow your drink. Stop talking about the fucking swallows. Thank you.
I will never look at Pomeranians the same when I am out walking my own dog. Yeah, I agree. Stoners, these are amazing, y'all. It's so cool to like experience a poem on the page and workshop. You know, we're like fine tuning, we're like putting our little like tools inside under the vehicle. Clearly I've not owned a car in like 11 years. You know, the hood, that's what I was thinking of. But then it's beautiful to just hear them being in the world. Our next reader is Holly Mitchell, a poet from Kentucky now based in New York, a winner of an Amy Award from Poets and Writers and a Gertrude Claytor Prize from the Academy of American Poets. Holly received an MFA in creative writing from NYU, and their poems appear or have appeared or are forthcoming in Afternoon Visitor, Fence Magazine, their digital series, and No Dear. Please welcome Holly.
Thank you to the Office Hours crew, to Sarah, to Greg. I hope that we can reconvene at the Bureau soon. And this first poem is set in January 2020. The year is beginning. We sipped sweet cortados from paper cups, taking a long weekend in Miami. Even the bread melted in a Cubano, spilling avocado. So many people happy to fritter away the winter on mid-beach, where this one snow was the flesh of snow crab on a cocktail fork. The sharpest key lime pie quivered in a clamshell box beside rows of highball glasses pre-dipped in sugar. As we passed Art Deco hotels and classic cars like outsized toys on the boardwalk to South Point, the wind gelled our hair with traces of the Atlantic. We didn't know our first trip to Miami would be our only escape for the year, and we'd cling to the memory like an acacia branch. In the morning, an iguana stretched on the steps. He had rained on the ground, I learned, losing his grip overnight in the cooling air, only to return to his digits and slowly move to standing with the sun. Mouse problem. In the 3 winter days I didn't spend at home, 2 mice moved in. One I trapped before quarantine, the other laid low, then surprised me by mid-March, leaving his black rice in the corner nearest the almond extract. When I stayed at home all day, I found I had the muscle to pull out appliances without waiting for the super. The second mouse ran from the oven back into the guts of our building. I packed a hole in the baseboards with chicken wire and feverishly wiped greasy marks from the wall. I wore my first DIY t-shirt mask because I fixed one problem, sweeping the floor. And this next one is a contrapuntal poem with two sets of lines on 2 sides of the page. And I'm going to read it in the traditional way, reading vertically through it all once and then diagonally a second time. East Warren Street. The house gray with the stains I remember, the gorgeous nothings upon the polk audio, vinyl thrifted for a quarter from the county library, hardbacks to hold before my face while I think, the words washing my hands clean, a long fish tank with algae, a pile of wood floor. In my apartment, negativities clutter my nights less often. Less dirt in my bedroom, no carpet, fewer books, I admit, on 2 shelves, read and unread, noises I accept from other families. Does anyone love their parents' home? Any writer? The house gray with the stains I remember. In my apartment, negativities clutter my nights less often. The gorgeous nothings upon the polk audio, less dirt in my bedroom, no carpet, vinyl thrifted for a quarter from the county library, fewer books, I admit, on 2 shelves, read and unread, hardbacks to hold before my face while I think, noises I accept from other families, the words washing my hands clean. Does anyone love their parents' home? Any writer? A long fish tank with algae, a pile of wood floor. And yeah, my last one, Rock Opera in the Country. We belt out Queen, the foster kid's favorite, though only Luna can hit all the notes without falling back on flat affect, my instrument. I knew she had a good voice I hadn't heard in years. She must have practiced Bohemian Rhapsody in the small counties I've left, replaying the 75 music video with Freddie and the perfect band across 3 octaves. I try not to well up. It's Thanksgiving. Let joy sound joyous and purgatory artful. Soon I'll stand up from the blue leather couch and hug everyone new and close. Wish I could stay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Holly. Wonderful poems. I was reflecting that you were one of our earliest members too. You, Paco, and Marty came on too. It's amazing to work with someone, you know, and reflect across the years with their poems, right? It's kind of like a really beautiful partnership of someone saying like, hey, let's just keep reading poems for semester after semester. Like, let's just keep going. Let's keep egging each other on. You know what I mean? I care about your poems and it's wonderful. So I think it's cool. We started in a bar called Kettle of Fish and we used to compete with sports. They'd be like sports baseball, sports football. And we were like, okay, let's huddle together so we can hear. But we bought a lot of beer. So the bar didn't mind at all. But it's really cool to reflect on that, how far we've come. Yeah, I hope we keep egging all of each other on to write more poems, right? Emily Hockaday is the author of 4 chapbooks. Her poems have appeared in numerous journals, And along with Jackie Sherbo, she co-edited the anthology Terror at the Crossroads. I'm a giant baby, so that will probably scare me, but I look forward to reading it. Please welcome Emily.
Hello, and thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Greg. Thanks to all the other readers. I'm so excited to be part of this workshop and to be reading today with you. I have 3 poems to read, and I'm going to start with an older poem that I wrote last spring during the pandemic. I'm going to read it sort of as a marker because I'm feeling very optimistic this year, and I think it's amazing the change that has happened in such a relatively short time. Thank you, science. So the first poem, this old one, is titled Last Breath. I think of my own breath and what would happen if I exhaled in space. It is not romantic, but I can't help feeling drawn to it. The inky dark, the utter quiet, objects moving, and me, one of them. Out in the Kuiper Belt, planetoids school like fish. They glitter, frozen ornaments moving in a loose, massive donut. Here at home, my orbit is getting tighter, smaller, less important. 63 days of isolation, and I am hardening to ice. My atmosphere is thinning. It is harder and harder to draw breath. I am cold. My daughter places hot hands on my cheeks. She says, I'm not sad. Every time she asks if the germs are still out, if the playgrounds are closed, I lose more heat. I don't know how to keep spinning. I'm losing sight of what I should be orbiting. Which way is the sun? The next one is one that I workshopped this semester. Thanks to everyone for listening to it once and now twice. It is titled Quantum Mechanics. My sister phones from Detox's unknown number while a friend drives a bag of kitty litter to her apartment. I dig my nails through my scalp all day. I have never wanted quantum entanglement to be knowable more. When I am observed spin charm, she will be spin strange. I look to the glowing center of myself, and I can see the string to her own heat. She kept a jar of cigarette butts in a clear plastic gelato container on the porch at our mother's former home. When the container was closed, her veins were open. The number called 3 times today, and each phone call ended abruptly. I have to go. I don't know what it is to need something this much. If the phone connection is dead, she will stay alive. Later, after discharge, I tell her, I will order you groceries. I am ordering you groceries right now. Please stay where you are. Stay so I can reach you. And this last one I'm reading is very new. It's a rough draft. Doesn't have a title yet. You would like this apartment. The same layout as the last one you visited, healthy. It opens north to south, so the rooms are always bright. Your granddaughter thumps over the first floor. I try to fill the space with you. You inhabit stories and tall tales as a myth. Your last trip to the city was rife with indignities. A whiteboard and a marker, a folding commode beside the bed, a wheelchair through the park we had hiked just 1 year prior. The squeeze on my heart is looser. The guilt and regret shed like skin. I didn't think these homemade kites would outlive you, rolled and gently stored in cardboard cylinders, leaned in a corner of the new basement. The refrain I heard from you so many times as a teenager comes back to me. Life isn't fair. What does fairness have to do with anything? After my toddler stomped the tiny tulip shoot cutting through the dark soil, it still grew, bent at the top. A broken leaf she touches each time we go outside. Sorry, she mutters, sorry. Thank you so much.
Ooh, that broken leaf. Wow. Beautiful. Oh, yeah. Oh, James, I think that's you. I'm just jumping in. Sorry.
No, it's totally fine. I have the genuine pleasure of introducing Sarah Msala for the next bit of the reading. So Sarah Msala is a queer poet of Polish-Lebanese descent. Her debut collection, Devil's Lake, is now out from Tolson Books. And you didn't add it in here, but was also a finalist for the Lambda Literary Prize. So, you know, that's dope. And I'm just going to add that in as part of your bio. She is the founder of the free poetry workshop, Office Hours, and co-poetry editor at Bellevue Literary Review. Her work appears in Bomb, the Southampton Review, and the Los Angeles Review. Visit her at sarahsala.com and at Sarah M. Sala. And give it up for Sarah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, James, for that beautiful introduction. I'm going to read some poems tonight. I'm going to share a screen because the work that I'm working on, the book is very much of the page, experimental poems. And I want to shout out Amy Herman, who was also there at the beginning stages of Office Hours, who said, why don't you make this migraine thing into a book? Which had literally never occurred to me. So that's why I'm working on a book, right? Power of suggestion. Okay, so I might have to get wild a little bit, turning my screen. I'm not sure what that'll look like for y'all, but these are a couple poems that were published in the Brooklyn Rail. Before preventatives, my limbs were barometers, data guzzling stations of raw nerve. I carve a turn and the wind holds me up. I blow past a curve. Something isn't right. I was the muscle and the sinew and the gravel and the Teflon lane lines. I flexed a thigh muscle and the bike leaped 2 feet. Now I hammer my speed, ward off the microscopic difference. Woke up to static rain, but no migraine. Before preventatives, my limbs were barometers. Little experiment there in reading. This one is literally just a footnote. Topomax. Call your doctor right away if you or your family member experiences any of the following symptoms, especially if they are new, worse, or worry you. Fatigue or sleeplessness. Thoughts about the seaside. Nausea. Attempts to build a castle. Weight loss. New or worse environmental depletion. Nervousness. Feeling unmoored or adrift. Prickling in limbs. Oceanic feelings. Psychomotor slowing. Taste change. Floating. Undulating or bobbing. Difficulty finding words. Gritty teeth. Anorexia. Frustration harvesting anemones. Acting on dangerous impulses. Abnormal tidal changes. If you've ever had to take medicine ever in your life, and aspirin is like, you might lose the use of your limbs, you know, like dog ears might sprout out of your face. It could cause a headache or it could take your headache away. You never know what you're getting into. All right, another little piece here. My entire life, my brain has begged for moments of complete emptiness. The closest I've ever come was inside a cave when the guide asked us to shut off all points of light and we fell silent. Even the hands in front of our faces were phantasmagoric, false. Deep inside the belly of the earth, this profound sensory deprivation. And this last one sprawls the page. Silent migraine. I go to meet the painter Leanne Maxey to see the opening of Elaine, let's get the hell out of here. Ascending the B train stairs, the sign's tiger orange wends around my shins like smoke. A man approaches in a gray suit, his face a pit of steel, wool. I stare, trying to compute. He averts his gaze. A woman clutches the creamy leather strap of her purse, brushes past me, her face a garbled vortex. A mural across the street vibrates, hot pink. To string a sentence to get her, smacking word magnets on a blackboard, one after the other, after the other. Inside the gallery, a yellow color wags itself in greeting. Midnight blue rope, thick as a calf, undulates over a wall. The colors extend tendrils like hyper-perennials. I tell them I can't stay. Everyone's faces reflecting distortion, flashbulbs back at me. Thank you for being on that fun journey. All right, our amazing last reader is Avia Tadmore, born in Israel. Her poems appear in the New England Review, the Adroit Journal, Crab Orchard Review, Apogee, Nashville Review, and elsewhere. She received support from the Vermont Studio Center and the Virginia Center for the Creative Arts. Avia holds a BA from Harvard University and an MFA from Columbia University. Please welcome Avia.
Thank you. And thank you, Greg, for letting us hold this reading. And also, thank you, Sarah. I've been thinking about Sarah. I joined office hours this last semester, and I've been thinking about Sarah as the poetry guardian angel for all of us. So thank you for making this happen and just kind of reminding us that writing is such a solitary thing we do, but it's not a lonesome one. So bringing us together has been a big, big, big gift. So thank you. And this is a poem that was written some while ago, but this specific week with the whirlwind of the world happening, I felt like I wanted to read this, and then I'll read some newer ones. Exodus Song. When the drowning comes, know, there will still be horses, loose and alone in the old country, their eyes flipped upwards, the horseshoes snapping one after the other and shooting into the great black night like the Prophet Muhammad's spears. When the drowning comes, know, the farrier will rebuild his shop, sell toys or trinkets on a distant avenue, decked on both sides, he'd notice, with unfamiliar flags. But the horses, yes, they'll be running and running until they are no longer horses. The bare hooves will lift and lash like decades over his country of ghosts, his country of wet black ash. Remember it even here underwater, the warm rush of blood, the old heart, it's pulling and plunging, the way a blind man's gullet pulses the Psalms. Remember the boy watching his teacher on fire, how her body relights the city's forsaken square. He knows the soldiers are sleeping at last in their various plots. A girl already in her new country reads Dostoevsky in English. Her hair smells of mothballs and basements, walls discolored with rain. She moves her pen in the margins, and it's a tongue not quite yet her own. Had I been grateful here? Was I driven by purpose? And were these always my own thoughts regarding the afterlife? Her pen is a stronghold, a lighthouse, flickering late in July. Did I make it a home? Did my brother feel pain? All my life I am trying, Lord, not to inscribe your full name. And the next one is from a series about the biblical Ruth, and the whole series is titled Ruth, and the title is spelled Ruth as if it were a dictionary, Ruth, like noun, dictionary definition. Ruth, meaning friendship, meaning flight of rare birds, meaning a woman who does not belong here, meaning I wanted to know when Naomi, meaning my mother and friend, said, go to the threshing floor. When he sleeps, uncover a place at his feet and lay there. Make yourself known, meaning attempt at seduction. What else do you have? Did she mean to define or defend me? And then this is another poem titled Ruth, spelled the same way, which I brought to workshop. So thank you for the feedback. Ruth, as in mercy, compassion, or gnawing distress as in sorrow for one's own sins. Probably a contraction of Ruth from the noun rue in Middle English. Probably two women in a field beyond town. They lay for days on the unshorn bales. Their breath smells of mallow and wheatgrass. All they want is to float without falling between sky and dank earth, to say each other's name as if were a hymn for this moment in summer, their prize pounding through them even in sleep. But one of them is awake. She moves around in her hunger, hands crossed over bare breasts. Theirs is a hunger that has been spinning inside, hung taut, a dimly lit chrysalis, probably for centuries. I am not like you, she says, and her eyes open and close on the other, like saying, I have meant to be meek and fear my own failure. Above them, probably birds headed south, wings outstretched in one direction. They drift on the upwash of one another without having language for it. Now the other one turns on her side, probably sun falling flat on the slope of her cheek, her chin feels the low dip above it. She wonders how God wants them to take in such warmth, knowing it will be what ends them. Probably with eyes shut hard, mouths newly awake and tongue first retracted. They've read the book. They know it's a sin, but it feels like making new speech, this guttural moan and haze that dampens the split ears of barley. Swallows stagger above them like homes imprinted into white sky. Imagine the sun receding, the other one says. Imagine no sky, only the darkness behind it expanding like slow ink. Imagine not even two stars blinking below, just the cold earth and the swallows that move then by instinct alone. Probably as I move before you, feeling for animal kindness, feel for whatever it is of desire we could not see at first. And then this last one is very freshly baked, and its title is In the Tongue I Was Born Into. The word for husband means owner, for wife means woman, and woman is man housed with God, which is to say, I hear him some mornings stirring among the leaves in the garden, restless as every animal gone too long unpurged, which is to say, we can't always localize anguish, but I know the smell of semen, how it wafts like the carob tree, pods packed with brown pulp and seeds. I know what he tells me. Chemists would sell the ripe fruit to singers so their voices would be soothed, by which he meant some of me could learn to like it. Some of me is thinking of war women, how they press vinegar rags into wounds to survive them. Some of me says survival is seeing only the peak of our wake. Him strangely angled and high-pitched, me in my sudden hunger, seaside glass factory swarming with gulls, one of us quick, the other one quicker, both of us stunned as all dying things by desire fading out unevenly, which is to ask, how holy is holy? How can I be a man housed with God when this union, this tongue, this poem even has failed me? What good are the gulls? Is the man? Are the words? Are the singers, their gullets this morning unhousing in me? Thank you.
Wow, everyone. I think what I feel right now is blown away, but also gratitude. Gratitude for the space, gratitude for poems that we keep coming back and making things together. Thank you all so much. Like, really, thank you, Greg, for everything that you do. Thank you, poets and writers, for putting some dollars in our pockets for writing. Thank you to all our parents who are, I don't know, superhuman. It's hard to keep plants alive, so I like bow down to y'all for continuing to be, write poems, and to make little humans. We'll be back again in the fall. If you have anybody you want to recommend that you know, it's pretty easy. You just email some poems to us. And yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting our writers. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Sarah.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Thank
Greg.
you. Thank you, Sarah.
So much.
Thank you all.
Great night.